So, let's begin. Today, our topic is how to create a brilliant video. A video that gets a lot of viewer attention, has high ratings, and becomes very popular. What do we need to start well? We need to create an atmosphere. We need to state our topic. We need to grab attention immediately so that people start watching the video. What does that require? We need to immerse a person right away on several levels: what they see, what they hear, and what they feel. What do they see? They see images on the basis of which they form a certain emotional experience. What do they hear? They hear the information itself, and they hear music, sounds that support it, information that fills it with some kind of meaning, some kind of experience.
Внимание всем постам ГАИ! Задержать белые «Жигули». Будьте осторожны, преступник вооружен. Товарищ майор, докладывай старшина по лещу. Преследую преступника на мотоцикле.
Only information that triggers strong emotions is remembered. Here's a real-life example. What kind of wedding is it without a fight at all, right? A person may not remember what they ate at that wedding or who was wearing what, but because of the fight, they will remember all the events. Let's look at this using the program The Brilliant Detective as an example. I really love these professionals. They have very strong imagery and good dramaturgy. The program is called Servants of the Devil. Accordingly, it's a very vivid example. Opposed to the devil is Jesus Christ. Here, the author of the program took as a basis the image of Christ crucified in a white shirt. They burn it. This is a personification of devilish deeds. And in this way, he is already fully inside his topic. He talks about sex, about something like that. He makes it clear to the viewer that these are dangerous people, that this is a frightening sect. Now, I'm going to tell you something that no one has ever heard before, something you should be afraid of. Usually, these topics work very well with audiences because human psychology is structured in such a way that people are afraid, they worry about their own safety, and therefore, such topics work very effectively. Pay attention to how he speaks, what he emphasizes. He speaks in slogans. He stamps it out. He puts emphasis on every word. This is important. He asks questions right away, from the very beginning. Then, throughout the entire film, he answers them. He sets the theme, he says it emotionally, with an actor's intensity. And here it's important. Servants of the devil specifically. Look, there's an inverted pentagram that directly corresponds to what he's talking about. It's not just that we burned a cross and then go on talking about the church. No, we are talking about the devil. Notice what's happening with the camera. The camera doesn't stand still. It's not static. We use the technique of a floating camera. Jittery, choppy, sharp turns. These shifts, push-ins, pullbacks. We create a rhythm of movement. We support this mode with music, and we support this rhythm with movement inside the frame. That is, the person moves within the shot. He steps toward the camera. He walks, he investigates, and he speaks with a clipped, precise voice. What mistakes should be avoided? When you're filming, be more careful so that the person doesn't fall out of the frame, and so that the composition doesn't get ruined. Why does this technique work so well? Some people think it's uncomfortable to watch when the camera is shaking. It's uncomfortable in cases where it's shot badly. So why does it work? Because it works as a means of immersion into real events, into a real reality that is familiar to us. We're used to the camera shaking in amateurs' hands at home, at birthdays, at weddings. What kind of footage is that going to be? It's going to be shaky, right? A stereotypical perception has already formed. This is amateur footage, documentary footage. Here, this imitation is used precisely to immerse the viewer in that atmosphere. The trailer for the entire film. The film is quite long, 45 minutes. And we have to say what we're going to talk about. Here is the main character, a woman who lost her son. We already feel sorry for her. We have an anti-hero, a certain sect member who corrupted her son. There are other victims, and there is a savior, the author of this program, who exposes all of this. Here we talk about death. Here we talk about psychics. Here we talk about sex. That is, we touch on all those topics that attract attention the most. All of this is layered over music that creates an atmosphere of horror and tension. It's framed with visual design that also works for our imagery. Look, bloodstains and a gray background. These shots will all necessarily be skewed, distorted forms like this. This woman is our main character. We take her as the base, and then, like beads on a string, we layer all the other elements onto her. That is, all the events that take place during the film will be presented through her story. What does this give us? It allows us to hold the viewer's attention throughout the entire film, so that we don't have scattered, fragmented information.
Татьяна Большакова, как ни удивительно, не держит зла на предводителей секты.
Я почему-то даже к Рудневу не испытываю никакой злости.
We unify it through a single character. Look at what an ideal, positive hero we have. These are the laws of cinema, the laws of television. If you take a positive hero, they have to be positive in everything. Despite the fact that a mother had her own son taken away from her, she holds no resentment. She's simply an angel. She's good. You see? This is important to maintain the contrast, so that people are drawn in, so that they empathize, so that they remain in a state of compassion. Then they absorb all this information very well. All the title cards, all the teasers are done. We start straight with the story itself. And here you have the mother who lost her son, who came to the walls of this ashram. She didn't come there for no reason. She came at night. Why at night? Because all the darkest things are decided at night. If we had brought her there in the morning, that image of horror would no longer exist. We came there at night to create this atmosphere, to show that a tragedy occurred. Childhood photos are mandatory. Mandatory, because this is the image of a mother who loves her son very much. Small, defenseless. Such a good boy who couldn't have done all this himself. He couldn't have done anything bad at all. She raised him to be a good boy. Here she should talk about what she remembers about him, what good things he did, how well he did at school, some touching habits of his. Where he is now, she doesn't know. She's looking for him. She's waiting for him. Here, it's important what questions the journalist asks. Those questions don't have to be included in the edit at all. She'll tell everything, and then you'll take only what you need. She might even tell you things that have nothing to do with the topic, about some other people. The main thing is that you take those words and present her speech as a monologue. You remove the questions and leave only the monologue, specifically on your topic. Use close-ups more often. More often, show her doing everyday actions. Pouring tea, for example. Show her eyes, her hands. That is, she's emotionally affected. This is how we immerse the viewer in her inner, heartfelt atmosphere. That's it. And then we move on to the story about the son, where he was, what happened to him, and how it all unfolded until he ended up in some kind of frightening yoga sect. Here, you can use any kind of footage at all, physical exercises, anything. It doesn't matter because people don't know specialized fields. What is yoga? They're used to seeing people sitting in certain poses. If people are standing, breathing, everything is already yoga. They'll believe it. It's fine. It's allowed. Everyone uses this. The main thing is that it works visually. Look, people are sitting, breathing, moving their hands, doing exercises. Does it look convincing? It does. Use materials like newspapers, newspaper clippings, photographs, newspaper articles more often. This suggests that people were already talking about this person before, that the person is already known. At the same time, you present information that he is dangerous, and it doesn't matter at all what's written there. No one will read it. You can even attach a completely different article. The main thing is that his photograph is easy to put together in Photoshop.